Now, with just over a month left until the start of Indy 500 practice, let's take a look at the 35 drivers and teams that are set to contest this year's 108th running of the Indianapolis 500, with Bump Day set to return for the second year in a row. It only seems appropriate to start off with the team that owns the speedway, both on track and literally. Team Penske returns with a three-car lineup, with reigning 500 champ Joseph Newgarden still in the number 2. Scott McLaughlin is now the only driver in the Penske camp without a Borg-Warner trophy. He returns in the Yellow Submarine number 3. 2014 and 2022 Series champ and 2018 500 winner Will Power returns to the number 12 for a shot at a second trip to Indianapolis Victory Lane. Chip Ganassi Racing will enter an astounding 5 cars in this year's 500. Rookie Kiffin Simpson will make his first 500 start in the number 4. Another rookie, Linus Lundqvist, replaces Marcus Ericsson in the number 8 as Ericsson goes to Andretti. 2008 race winner Scott Dixon once again remains in the number 9, still searching for his second 500. 2023 pole winner Alex Palou will return in the number 10. The two-time series champ who came close in 2021 is still looking for his first Borg-Warner trophy. Marcus Armstrong, who ran on all the road and street courses for Ganassi last year, returns in the number 11 for the full season. A rebranded Andretti Global has cut back to just 4 cars for this year's 500. Colton Herta and Kyle Kirkwood remain in the 26 and 27, as Kirkwood is looking to bounce back after being in the highlights last year for all the wrong reasons. Marcus Ericsson has moved over from Ganassi to replace Roman Grosjean in the 28, and Marco Andretti will make his usual one-off start in the 500 in the 98 car co-owned by him and Brian Herta. A lot of headlines surround Arrow McLaren as we head closer and closer to the beginning of practice. Pato O'Ward has remained in the number 5 and possibly become the highest paid driver in IndyCar history. Young superstar David Malukas has moved over from Coyne into the number 6 NTT Data car, the car carrying the series' title sponsor. Alexander Rossi remains in the number 7, searching for his second 500 after his fuel mileage miracle in 2016. The big headliner for McLaren, however, is their 4th car, this year being driven by NASCAR Cup Series champion and sprint car master Kyle Larson. Larson will attempt to finish the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 on the same day, a feat that hasn't been attempted since Kurt Busch 10 years ago. Can Larson and the number 17 team pull off one of the greatest performances in motorsport history, driving 1,100 miles across 2 vastly different tracks hundreds of miles apart and in 2 drastically different cars? Or will the Memorial Day double remain unconquered? We'll just have to wait and see. Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing has nowhere to go but up after a disastrous month of May last year, where Graham Rahal was bumped out by his own teammate Jack Harvey at the end of last row shootout qualifying. Rahal returns this year in the flagship number 15 Honda. Pietro Fittipaldi descends from racing royalty. He replaces Jack Harvey in the 30, now with major backing from 5 Hour Energy. Christian Lundgaard returns for his 3rd Indy 500 in the Hy-Vee number 45 in a quest to lock himself into the race comfortably this year after having to participate in the last row shootout last year. Takuma Sato will pilot the 4th RLL entry for the 500 this year, numbered the 75, looking for his 3rd Borg-Warner trophy after finding victory lane in 2017 and in 2020. Ed Carpenter Racing is returning once again with a 3-car squad, with Ed Carpenter driving the flagship number 20 once again after driving a woefully uncompetitive 3rd car at the Oval Races last year. Rinus VeeKay is now the full-time elder statesman of the Carpenter squad, once again returning in the number 21 Chevy. The road and street course driver for the number 20, former Indy Next star Christian Rasmussen, will drive the number 33 car for the 500. Meyershank Racing returns to the Brickyard with an extra car. Now part team owner Elio Castroneves is in an Indy-only number 06 entry to go for his record-breaking 5th Indy 500 win. Felix Rosenqvist has left McLaren to replace Simon Pagenaud in the number 60 Honda, and Castroneves' full-time replacement is Tom Blomqvist in the renumbered number 66. For Dale Coyne Racing, Nolan Siegel is doing all of the races without an Indy Next companion race, including the Indy 500 in the number 18 Honda. For the 51 Rick Ware Racing entry, Catherine Legg will carry the Elf Cosmetics colors. Elf will become the first primary sponsor of a car entered in the Indy 500 that represents the cosmetic industry. AJ Foyt is looking to better their success from last year when both cars made the Fast 12 and Santino Ferrucci ended up finishing 3rd. Ferrucci returns this year in the number 14 Chevy, and Stingray Robb will drive the renumbered 41 car as his teammate. Robb is looking for a fast car in qualifying after being sent to the last row shootout last year, driving for Dale Coyne. Dreyer and Reinbold Racing returns once again with 2 cars, this time partnering up with Cusick Motorsports for both of their entries. The 23 will be driven by 2014 winner and 2012 Series champion Ryan Hunter-Reay, and Connor Daly, who was out of a ride at Ed Carpenter Racing mid-season last year, has taken up the seat in the 24 Chevy. Juncos Hollinger Racing has signed Roman Grosjean to replace the unceremoniously fired Callum Ilott in the number 77 Chevy. Augustine Canapino remains in the 78 as Argentina has become IndyCar's second biggest TV market. The little team that knocked out McLaren back in 2019 is now on their way up. And the final team on this list is Able Motorsports, who plan to once again enter with R.C. Enerson as their driver. But now, with sponsorship uncertain, the team is searching for other drivers with sufficient money to fund the program. Devlin DeFrancesco, Stephen Wilson, and Charlie Kimball are all drivers that have had their names thrown around to take up the seat if Enerson can't find sponsorship. Let's look at our stat pack for this year's 500. 35 teams are entered. 17 of them will be powered by Chevrolet engines, and the other 18 are Hondas. 7 former winners are entered with 10 combined 500 wins among them. 2023's Rookie of the Year was AJ Foyt Racing's Benjamin Peterson, who was not entered in this year's race. And of course, last year's winner, after that nail-biting one-lap shootout, was Team Penske's Joseph Newgarden. Those are the 35 teams going for the 33 starting positions for the 108th Indianapolis 500. These teams will be in action on the greatest race course in the world starting on May 14th when practice begins for the greatest spectacle in racing. Make sure you subscribe for all the coverage you'll need here on TWIR, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Washed away.